Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Analysis. Up for analysis today is Mystery. Mystery lives in the deep sea, where not many can stand the water pressure. When she's down there alone, she creates a mind palace from which she sees and manipulates others' emotions. Here we have the different forms of Mystery, a great design in my opinion. This is one of the Zodiac monsters available from the Zodiac maze. You can see the circle showing the different Zodiac signs below the monster, so that alone looks absolutely fantastic. And so let's take a look how good Mystery really is. Before I jump into stats however, I do need to mention that there are currently 20 water monsters as of the time I'm recording this video, so Mystery's stats and skills will be compared to the rest of the monsters you see before you. We start things off with power. Mystery has a power of 3,201, and this is rather on the low end, putting Mystery in 15th place, so she's only stronger than 5 other water monsters. As for her life, Mystery has a life of 29,255, and this is actually a pretty good life, pretty tanky. This actually puts her in 4th place, actually tied for 4th place with Nadaria, so other water monsters would have a hard time taking out Mystery. As for her speed, she has a speed of 3,421. There's quite a handful of monsters that actually have this speed, so Mystery is tied for 8th place, and the most notable monsters that have this speed would be Frostbite and General Thetis. So not too bad I guess. And as for his trait, unlike other water monsters, she's immune to possession. Currently, as of the time making this video, the only other water monster immune to possession is Brynhilda, so Mystery having this immunity to possession is also pretty good, because this makes Mystery a viable option in team wars involving dark monsters and magic monsters, possibly if you want to switch things up a bit. The problem comes that when you play in team wars, if it's magic and water for example, the enemy water monster will most likely have all speed runes and have freeze skills, the enemy magic monster will have all speed runes and possession skills, so even though Mystery can block the possession, you're not going to be able to block freeze, so that is a little unfortunate. Nonetheless, this does create diversity in team wars, and I think this will become most noticeable in team wars involving water, magic, and then legendary for the rarity, or something like water, dark, and legendary, because now the enemy's magic or dark monsters are faster than you and they start off with AoE possession. If you decide to use Mystery, she won't be possessed and then she'll be able to respond with an attack, so that is definitely a viable option. However, at the same time, when legendary is an available option in team wars, you also have the ability to use your best monster. You can use Timerion, you can really use anyone you want, so you might not really have a need to use Mystery, so there is that. So now let's move on and talk about skills. For her default skills we have Fish Star and Liquid Nebula, nothing interesting here, so we move on to the ultimate skill, Call to Karkanos. Deals heavy special damage to all enemies, may possess all targets, removes 50% of stamina from all targets. This is a special based AoE that deals 50 damage to all the enemy monsters, and it possesses all of the enemy monsters as well as drains 50% of their stamina. Now to me personally, the possession and energy drain, that's kind of counterintuitive, because if you get Mystery's ultimate attack like on the second turn, by then the enemy monsters have already exhausted about 50% of their stamina. They've definitely exhausted enough to not be able to use another attack, so even though they're possessed, it doesn't matter because they're going to have to recharge anyways. If they were to get their ultimate however, it is really nice that they're possessed, because then they'd use their ultimate against their own team. So even though I did claim the skill is rather counterintuitive, I do see the purpose of it. The possession plus the 50% stamina drain, that is like a perfect immobilizer, because either A, the enemy monsters have enough stamina to attack themselves, or B, the enemy monsters have no stamina and they have to recharge, or C, the enemy monsters have no stamina, they're possessed, and they get their ultimate, so they still attack themselves. So overall, this is a really good ultimate attack. Breezing through skills group 1 really quickly, we have Altarf, Tied to Me, Lido Helper. Nothing really interesting about these skills, so we're going to disregard them completely, and thus we move on to skills group 2. Alrishka. Deals moderate special damage, may possess target, requires cooldown. This is a special based attack that targets a single enemy, dealing 40 damage, costing 28 stamina, having a 2-turn cooldown, and you possess an enemy monster. Being a water monster that can possess another water monster, that is absolutely amazing. If you decide to use a deny build for Mystery, which you possibly could, so you give Mystery all speed runes, and then only if you're faster than the enemy water monster, if you possess them, there is a pretty good chance that the enemy water monster may mobilize its own team, especially if it's someone like Cavenfish, who's a popular monster to put on defense. Another popular water monster to put on defense is General Thetis, and General Thetis, as you very well may know, she has tough, so there's a 35% chance negative effects won't land against her. But still, can you just imagine landing possession on that Thetis and then she does stamina devours? You're pretty much set, you're gonna get 3 coins easily. It goes without saying that you definitely want to run Alrishka. Next up is Anenatum. Deals moderate water damage, may freeze target, requires cooldown. Here we have a water based single target hit that deals 40 damage to an enemy monster, it costs 28 stamina and a 2-turn cooldown, and this skill will freeze the enemy monster. It goes without saying that you should definitely run this skill. Yes, odds are the enemy monster will be immune to freeze, but like I mentioned, if it's someone like General Thetis, she's not immune to freeze, although she does have tough, and not to mention in team wars, there's always another monster that you could potentially freeze, as well as the rarity, so you should definitely run this skill. Next up up is Artemis Servants. Deals heavy special damage, removes 20% of stamina from target. This is a special base skill that deals 50 damage to a single enemy. It costs 28 stamina and it has no cooldown. And so this skill removes 1/5 of the enemy's stamina. And you can spam this skill as much as you want to, or really as long as your stamina runs out. And although this is a special base skill that deals a nice amount of damage, doesn't cost that much stamina, and has a nice effect, I don't recommend running this skill because she has a better version of this in skills group 3. So on to skills group 3, we have Antares. Deals low special damage to all enemies, 50% chance of possessing all targets, requires cooldown. This skill is a special based AoE that deals 30 damage to all the enemy monsters. It costs 33 stamina and it only has a 1-turn cooldown, which is pretty good. However, although this is a possession skill, it's only a 50% chance of landing. Now even though I don't like skills that only have a 50% chance of doing something, in this case I'm gonna say it's not too bad considering Mystery is a water monster with a possession skill, an AoE possession skill at that. If in Team Wars you can partner up this monster with someone that can give her increased accuracy, whether it be your other legendary monster or whether it be the rarity, as long as one of your other two monsters can give Mystery increased accuracy, then this skill becomes very valuable. Take for example this scenario. With Mystery you start the game off with Aldrishka and you possess the enemy water monster. Let's just say the enemy water monster was a cabin fish, so then that cabin fish says either AoE stun or AoE freeze. So in my example let's just use AoE freeze. Cabin fish himself is immune so nothing happens to him, the rest of his team will be frozen. It goes over to your next legendary monster and let's say that monster has a supportive skill that can give increased accuracy to Mystery. Then yada when it goes back to Mystery, when it's Mystery's turn, she's gonna have increased accuracy, so when she uses Antares, she's gonna land an AoE possession, which would be really good. So it ultimately comes down to strategy. Don't count out this skill yet, I would recommend running this skill. Next we have Alpha Piscium. Deals low water damage to all enemies, 50% chance of freezing all targets, requires cooldown. Here we have a water based AoE that deals 30 damage to all the enemy monsters. It costs 33 stamina and it has a low 1-turn cooldown. And here we have another mobilizing skill. Once again, 50% chance. It can be patched with the increased accuracy, but in this case I would say it's not as strong as Antares because the water monster is immune to freeze. So if you had to pick between these two skills, I'd go with Antares. However, one cool feature about this monster is that both of these AoEs only have a 1-turn cooldown, so if you wanted to, you could realistically just cycle between both of these skills during the whole duration of a game, so that's pretty cool too. And the last skill in skills group 3 is Orion Finisher. Deals very heavy special damage, removes 25% of stamina from target. This is a special based skill that deals 60 damage to a single enemy monster. It costs 31 stamina and it has no cooldown. So this is the better version of the skill from skills group 2. It's stronger, yeah it costs 3 more stamina points, but it also has no cooldown and it drains 1/4 of the enemy stamina as opposed to 1/5. So a pretty powerful skill, and like I always say, you just never know. You never know when all you have to do is just drain that remaining stamina points from the enemy monster, causing it to recharge, causing you to win the game. You just never know. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So now for the fun part of the video, coming up with a proper skill set. And we're gonna start off by saying there isn't really such a thing as a best skill set for this monster, or furthermore like a best rune set. With Mystery, you pretty much have to make it to your liking. Considering there are so many water monsters, so many great water deniers, you can make the argument that it's not even worth making Mystery a denier. And even though she doesn't have the highest power to begin with, you can easily patch that up with strength runes and you can make her an attacker, and she'd be an attacker that has great control skills, so she really wouldn't be that bad of an attacker either. At the end of the day though, just because there are so many good water monsters, I fear that you really won't be needing Mystery that much in Team Wars. If anything, you'd probably just use her for fun, or maybe in those particular Team Wars situations, involving magic monsters that can possess, or even dark monsters that can possess. So you ultimately have to decide what's best for you. For me, the skills that stand out the most are Orion Finisher, Antares, Aldrishka, and this skill right here, the single freeze. And if you want to make Mystery an attacker, give her 2 strength runes and a speed rune. And if you do make Mystery an attacker, it'd probably be more for player versus player, not so much for Team Wars, because for water monster you really just want to use a deny monster, not an attacker. But if you ever get the chance to use your water monster as an attacker, then you could have fun with Mystery. Going the deny build option, you'd give her all speed runes, the best speed runes you have. Like I already mentioned, she's tied for 8th place along with monsters like Frostbite and Thetis, so if you've ever used Frostbite or Thetis, Mystery is another option you could use in Team Wars. I'm not saying Mystery is better than Frostbite or Thetis, because between those 3 monsters, I'd have to say that Mystery would probably be my last pick. Then I guess Mystery could be your first pick. And if you are making a deny build, your strategy should be to use Aldrishka on the enemy water monster. Hopefully the enemy water immobilizes its team, and if that is the case, hopefully you bring another monster that can give you increased accuracy, and then you'd be able to use Antares, and you'd most likely secure the game by then. You'd also have the single free skill to immobilize the enemy attacker, and you'd have a strong 60 damage hit to use against the enemy water monster, which would also drain 25% of his stamina. So all in all, a pretty good good skill set. And with all that being said, that is going to conclude my analysis on Mystery. Please let me know what you thought about this analysis. Also be sure to let me know, what do you all think about this monster? How do you think it compares to the rest of the water monsters? I already feel like I know the general consensus, she's not as good as them, and I guess if I'm being real with myself, I would have to agree with all of you. Nonetheless, I do really like this monster, just because it's something new, it's something with immune to possession, it's something with a single possession. I do really enjoy that. Because after a while, it gets to the point where every single water monster that comes out, the first thing people look for is an AoE freeze skill and a good base speed. If a water monster has that, people are usually satisfied. When a monster doesn't have those two things, they normally think the monster sucks. But for me personally, I like to see something new. I like to see that this game is expanding and evolving and trying out new things. I don't like to see the same repetitive stuff over and over and over again. So with that being said, whatever thoughts are going through your mind, please be sure to let me know in the comments below. And like always, I hope everyone has a great amazing day or a great amazing night. Remember to dream big and pursue your passions.